Hello everyone, this is Minoxen bringing you a Game Replays Tournament Season 4 semifinal matchup between ExSK and DWI. The winner of this match will go on to face Fnatic MSI in the finals. I'm joined with On a Prayer. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all looking forward to this one. I'll get into it after you're done, but just looking at the bands, it's really predictable. But I'll just let you finish.
On a
It
Prayer
is
with
really,
his
really predictable between the
pro
two
pick
teams.
knowledge. But yeah, I figured I'd touch on real quick here how these teams got here. ExSK, their name being, of course, because they were the former SK Gaming. SK has re-rolled a new team, taking over the former Evil Geniuses. But they did manage to beat Reason Gaming 2-1, and DWI managed to beat Duskbin in a 2-0 matchup as well. So I think that's mostly all of my crucial information I need to get out to the viewers. Thank you all for tuning in. We also need to say thank you to our sponsors. We have SteelSeries, Owned TV, and help me out here on a prayer, TeamSpeak 3.
TeamSpeak.
There we go. Thank you all so much for our sponsorship and everything and allowing us to do this tournament. We really appreciate it. And now I'll go ahead and let On a Prayer get on with the banning talk as he wishes to.
Yeah. So it is pretty much you knew it was going to be Torture since DWI really likes him. Toronto plays really good Torture. Magnus was. It could have gone either way. Both teams. Cardinal I know plays Magnus quite often, and I know DWI also picks up Magnus every now and again. Puppet Master, not surprising. Toronto, I assume, was banned by SK, although it could have gone either way because both teams like to pick up Puppet Master. I'm just gonna see who banned him. Yep, SK did ban the Puppet Master. Not surprised over there. Pharaoh, sort of surprised. I know SK does like Pharaoh, but kind of surprised. Wild Soul, I think Brax plays Wild Soul, and he's a hero that's. Well, the thing is about Wild Soul, he's a hero that's really hard to stop because it's hard in a solo 1v1 situation. He does kind of win with his bear, and then he can push towers so easily that he can always catch up. It's really hard to continually keep him down. If you focus too much on one hero, you're giving the other team leeway, for their other heroes to farm. So it really is kind of hard to keep him down. Flint Beastwood, also not that surprising. Both teams really like Flint Beastwood. So there's only one that's a little bit off to me, but it was banned from SK against CWI. As for what they're going to pick up, Hellbringer actually not being banned. DWI really likes that hero. I thought they were going to pick up Witch Slayer. That's pretty much Jaw's hero. He plays Witch Slayer, so I assume they're going to pick up Witch Slayer on that end. It's a little bit ahead, but Myrmidon, not surprised. I guess I'll just go one by one, but Hellbringer, first pick, that's definitely reasonable. He's either banned or picked up immediately. He's just superior initiation and counter. If you get jumped, he can just turn around and literally catch the entire team off guard. Since it's not even about positioning, the huge AoE is easy to catch everyone. And Zaku plays Roamer. He either plays Behemoth, Magnus, or Hammerstorm pretty much exclusively in these matches. So this game, next game, and if it goes to a third game, you'll probably be seeing him pick up any one of those. Unless he plays Thunderbringer, which he does do every now and again, but I'm expecting either of those three heroes from him. Mo plays our support. He'll probably take Andromeda, and then they'll have... It's interesting though, because Jaw typically plays their hard support, so Mo, I'm not sure if he's going to go hard support, or if he's going to go something like a Polylog Priest, which he actually likes to play. Kiwi Kids, their solo... Interesting, yeah. Vindicator being ghost pick, not surprised. I was going to say Toronto either plays Torture or Vindicator as his preference. Torture, Vindicator, or Puppet Master are his three most likely choices to play. Torture, Vindicator, Puppet Master. So in this case, where Torture and Puppet Master are not available, I guess Vindicator, other than Vindicator, I'm trying to see who else he would pick in their lineup specifically as well. Let's see, they have Hellbringer solo. Toronto's going to go in a tri-lane with Hammer. Well, it's going to be a ranged carry. So it's probably going to be Vindicator. Maybe Silhouette, although Silhouette's generally in a solo situation. Kiwi Kid, I assume, is going to take the Corrupted Disciple. Alright, enough of that. I'm going to go to SK. I'm sorry for taking all the time. Just trying to
That's all right.
all these things. Yeah, but Myrmidon...
One quick thing I was curious about on Hammerstorm. Would you have rather seen him go with the Hammerstorm or with the Behemoth pick? since that is one of his common picks there. And they did not ban Behemoth, which we saw in the last week, a lot of Behemoth being banned there, since he is such a powerful initiator and just has such massive damage whenever he jumps in there.
DWI, it's preference, and they do prefer the Hammerstorm over the Behemoth. His stun is also really nice. It's 2-second stun starting from level 1, and the cast range is really big.
And he has a little bit more in-game potential as far as being able to pick up and carry a little bit of the weight himself.
Yeah. And the AoE on the stun allows for decent initiation. You can always jump in and stun 2, maybe 3 people, which is always nice. With the Behemoth, until you get your blink, he's kind of hard to really have in a team fight, but Hammerstorm from pretty far back can throw out his hammer throw and just stun a few people for 2 seconds, which is really nice. So he has more early game potential, and DWI likes to run around really early. He's a better roamer than Behemoth, I'd say.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of... Behemoth is more risky, since you have to actually get a good block off. Otherwise, it's like 1.2 seconds or 1.25 seconds stun as opposed to 2 seconds stun from Hammerstorm. And
looks like ExSK is going to go ahead and pick up that Behemoth. We have the full Legion team picked out here with Myrmidon, Aluna, Plague Rider, who we saw all last week in the new SK Gaming versus MSI. Picked that hero every single game, I think, for MSI there, and finally got it to work a couple times there at the last few games. And then rounding it out with the Behemoth and Soul Stealer. So going for a nice little bit of early advantage and some good team fight potential.
Yeah, they're mad. It's called DWI because they like to pick Vindicator and Jerizaiah for that reason. They're considered 2 really lame heroes as a counter to specific heroes, and so DWI really likes to do that. That's why they always pick Vindicator, and they do have a history of going Jerizaiah in the past. I didn't see it coming, honestly, but their Cardinal throws it out there. He's just saying that he feels like they're trying a bit too hard, but I mean, that's yeah. If not now, then when?
Well, that is excellent. I really like to get to see Jerizaiah in these matchups. Don't get to see him very often, that's for sure, but definitely got a strong team fight potential there with his ultimate and his magic immunity that he can grant, along with his heal for added survivability. So, yeah, I guess we've got a fully picked out team on the Hellborn there. We'll just cover that for the viewers. We have a Jerizaiah, Hammerstorm, Corrupted Disciple, Hellbringer, and Nymphora rounding out the picks. So, pretty nice squad there. They did go ahead and vote for the remake, so we're going to be doing that pretty quickly. I'm assuming they're going to be sticking with the same picks as per the norm is. But we'll just have to see what pans out here in this little bit of downtime.
Yeah, so I was saying it would be interesting to see who went what, since Ja typically would play Witchslayer, but with Mo in the game, they're probably swapping it out a little bit. And he does like Nymphora, so I guess between the two, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of obvious. So the Jerizaiah was a little bit thrown into the mix over there, but their heroes, I don't think anyone would be surprised. SK, US teams don't really have a history of running Plague Rider as much as EU teams, so maybe DWI didn't really feel like he'd be worth banning. And I'm not sure if doesn't look like they're going to run him in a solo situation either. So he's going to be a tri-lane, and tri-lane Plague Rider doesn't win all too often.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we saw that again last week. If you all tuned in last week and watched the MSI versus SK, trying to fit that Plague Rider into a tri-lane just doesn't usually quite work as well as letting him get some of his own farm and maintaining lane control with that exhaust or... I can't remember what it's called, but
Extinguish.
Extinguish, there we go, I knew it was close. Extinguish on the creeps there to maintain lane control.
Yeah, it's more about the levels too. If it takes him like far too longer, let's say when he hits level 6, the opposing solos are like 9, 10, 11, and then he's barely keeping up with the other team supports. It's just his ultimate's so game-changing in a team fight. For it to show up that late in the game because he's in a tri-lane really hurts the team. And without his ultimate...
Psst. Join on me.
Oh, can I follow you? Oh.
I don't think... Is it not?
No.
Okay.
There we go. I'm in.
I am about to be in. And there we go.
Alright, that's all of us, I believe. Alright, we are going to see Slicks brought in here to replace Mo since he had to go. I did not mean to rhyme that, but it worked out. So with the Legion having Plague Rider and Behemoth both, they're going to have an insanely powerful team fight if they can get that good initiation off with Behemoth coming in there and setting it up for that Plague Rider ultimate.
Yeah. The thing about Jerizai is, as a counter to him, he does have the magic immunity, but it's only,
One
obviously it's only
target,
for
yeah.
one teammate. So the way you counter him is by getting a magic-heavy team. So although they are going to be able to protect one person on their team, the fact they have so much magic damage on SK does work out quite well for them. And let me just adjust my volume. I've heard that it could use a little bit of work. Second, I'm just gonna see what I can do.
All right.
Well, the decibel level is already plus 10. I'd rather... Alright, let me see.
Oh my god. Please don't be AFK.
I hope not. And Slicks has shown up, so Mo is going to be taken out over there. And they do have Corrupted Disciple, which I am interested to see how they're going to swap it out, because I thought Mo would be playing the Hellbringer, but looks like Kiwi is going to be solo side lane Hellbringer. Interesting. He's their solo player as well. I mean, Slicks and Kiwi could both play solos. Toronto typically goes in a tri lane, also solo lane, since the team roams a lot. So I thought they'd run a Witch Slayer, because Witch Slayer is he's a little better for roaming because he has both the stun and the hex. And Nymphora, although with the Hammerstorm stunning, he's easy follow-up.
Alright, here we go. This game is actually lined up and ready to roll here. Soul Stealer going to be taking the mid, obviously. And what do you think this lane situation is? Who's going mid for the Hellborn? I'd imagine Hellbringer or Corrupted. Looks like Hellbringer's going to win that choosing, and Corrupted going bottom.
Yeah, I was going to say between the two that Kiwi's their middle, like he always goes middle, and Slicks is a little more versatile, although he also generally goes middle. But between the two it makes sense because a Hellbringer, to counter him, he's really squishy, but Corrupted Disciple he can't afford to get in his face and auto-attack him, and stealing his damage won't necessarily work because he can just turn around and nuke him with his demon hands. So they need someone who can keep up their harass on him, and without having to auto-attack him.
Oh,
and
this looks like fun.
Oh. Although, it would go either way. They're both okay against Soul Stealer. I mean, the animation on Corrupt Disciples, it works well enough that he can kind of outlane him without any harassment. He can kind of get the advantage in terms of creep score.
Oh, and the whole
Soul
Hellborn
Stealer,
team there, or at least 4 of them, of course. Pink deciding to sit it out top since it's a little bit too far of a walk. But down here trying to get a kill, they were like walking just slowly, sluggishly chasing after the Legion team. But unable to go ahead and catch them and land something, so a little bit unfortunate for that, so we don't get to see any early action here as far as lane advantage. We do see Corrupted Disciple, Hammerstorm, and Nymphora are going to be going bottom here, facing off against Behemoth, Myrmidon, and Aluna. And that leaves Jerizai solo top.
Yeah, I was wondering if they'd put the Aluna in the tri lane, but I wasn't paying so much attention. It definitely makes sense. I was looking more at the DWI team. I'm sorry guys, I wasn't really paying attention to the SK, but they do have the lineup to allow for the Plague Rider to go for a solo, because he wouldn't have been in the tri lane. It was either him or Soul Stealer, and obviously Soul Stealer. So the lanes are actually pretty obvious. I just didn't have the time to pay attention to it before they remade. I was just looking at the Hellbringer. The reason why they went for the bottom tri lane is because, like I said, DWI really likes to roam, so had they gone top, it would have been harder to go between bottom and mid. If they're at bottom, they can kind of come up behind the middle lane, whereas if they came from the top, it'd be a lot harder to gank middle. And Hellbringer, you can actually tell he was going to go middle because he picked up middle lane items. He picked up 2 minor totems and
bottom. We do see Behemoth go down. Sorry to interrupt you there. We had a stun come out from Hammerstorm, followed up nicely by the Nymphora, Zeal, and Corrupted Disciple going out with the Electric Tide there to go ahead and pick up a quick and easy kill onto Behemoth. Looked like he got a little creep blocked. But already starting off a little action pack down at the bottom, and some nice warding being done here. Jaw throwing out a ward to block their pull, and also throwing a ward up to give them a little bit of vision to see when middle might be wandering down this way. And I believe that does also give them at the edge of the rune as well.
That should, yeah, that'll definitely do it. So it should spot them coming. That's a really nice placement. Like you said, yeah, makes sense they went at the bottom so they can roam mid, which they're going to do eventually as soon as Corrupted gets the advantage enough. But they can't really leave him because now that there's a Myrmidon there and it's tri-lane versus tri-lane, they can't afford to leave him. So they're just going to be hanging around bottom And like I said, 2 second stun from Hammer Storm, Nymphora Zeal also lasts. I think it's like, it's 0.75 or something either way. So it's 1.5 second stun, which is also reasonably long time as Hammer Storm gets
Oh, he gets stuck behind enemy lines here.
wrong side of town.
Yeah, and apparently the locals aren't too friendly as he tries to dodge, but unfortunately gets caught by that. Not getting the taunt successfully done, but unfortunately that landed there. Oh, and a nice counter ward already coming up from Jaw to spot the lane ward as well. So nicely done there to Jaw and getting that done, taking care of that early Legion lane ward. So we are tied up 1-1 so far. Lots of action going on down here in this bottom lane. I don't want to ignore the other lanes so far. We have Jeremiah facing off a Plague Rider who's currently at level 4 facing off the level 3 Jeremiah. How is their farm situation doing up there? Jeremiah is currently 9-0 and Plague Rider sitting at 13-8. So Plague Rider pretty easily winning that. Bottom we got a little bit of action as the Myrmidon is caught with the stun from Hammerstorm. The Nymph Zeal following it up. Unfortunately, Nymphora being turned around on now, and Aluna may be able to pick up the kill. She does, in fact, but it might also cost her life. There it goes. Corrupted Disciple picking up the kill there on that. No, actually, Hammerstorm picking up the kill. So nicely done there. Just tons and tons of back and forth down here. That's what you run into when you have a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation. But I'm trying not to ignore the other lanes. I'm just trying to keep in between everything here. Soul Stealer level 4 facing off against Hellbringer. And what is that looking like so far? We've got a 9-7 Soul Stealer facing off against a 11-9 Hellbringer. So still relatively even there. No huge giveaways yet. Bottom, here we go. The block off happening on Hammerstorm. He gets the stun off. They're trying to take down Aluna. A nice Nymph Zeal to follow it up. And here's the Tide to finish off that Aluna. Now they're going to go ahead and see if they can finish up on this Behemoth. Here comes the stun from Hammerstorm in 3 seconds. Oh, but Behemoth following it up, but it's not going to be enough because he gets caught with that hammer anyways. So nicely done there on the pursuit, catching up and keeping up. And Nymph also leveling into her Grace of the Nymph here at level 3 to provide that little bit of extra mana to Hammerstorm so he can spam that stun.
Yeah, it's actually going really well for DWI. A bit surprising to me. Between Aluna's power throw is one of the best early game damages, but they've been letting DWI get the better of them. Like
Aluna seems to be playing a little too far forward on that. They're not.
Yeah.
She's trying to melee more than just use her power throw instead of getting the last hit on it. It's trying to melee them to death.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean they have two of the stronger early game damaging spells with the Weed Field for Myrmidon and the Aluna power throw. They can easily jump on this Corrupted Disciple, although they have a lot of backup. That is one thing that's difficult. He can kind of stand up there, and then if they try to do anything, the Hammerstorm can run in there and stun, and the Nymphora can stun. But still, they have a lot of damage to kind of pull through that. But they're giving them the advantage in the levels, which is kind of setting them back. And right now, they really have no recourse. Once you're behind in levels in a child lane, it's kind of over until you get a gank from your top lane. So Plague Rider might try to come down there and help out once he hits level 6. As for the leveling of abilities, I was actually surprised to see that Jeremiah didn't pick up Protective Charm. He's going to want to pick that up at least by level 6, because if Plague Rider hits 6 and he's not, he can kind of heal through it though, so he doesn't necessarily need it, because even if Plague Rider throws out a nuke and an ult, he can heal enough that he'll probably survive if he doesn't get,
and top, we have that roaming
every bounce onto him. Yeah,
roaming
any
Zaku.
Unlucky bounces as yep.
Here we go. Jeremiah's coming in. He's going to try and get a heal landed on this. I'm assuming if Hammerstorm was not creep blocked so badly. There we go. Jeremiah going to get the heal off to finish up that little bit of a fight. But bottom, they do recognize, hey, there's a Hammerstorm up top. Let's kill us an Nymphora. And that's exactly what they do. You'll see that happen a ton in these games, to where just the reaction time and realizing, hey, there's 2 top, that means that there's only 2 bottom, so let's make a move. Be aggressive. So they go out there and they get a kill and they tie up the exchange, I guess. Of course, top dying is going to be a little bit more of a crucial exchange going out than one more at bottom dying, and it was just Nymphora, so not a huge loss comparatively to their Plague Rider going down.
Yep, definitely your soul laner going down as opposed to the support. So the top lane, yep, there he goes. He actually does pick up the 1 level of Protective Charm in preparation for the Plague Rider ultimate. Now, if Plague Rider is close enough, he can probably manage to get off all the damage before Jeremiah can cast it, since it...
Just saying mid for the camera, if nothing else, as we do have Hammerstorm throwing out there the Hellbringer ultimate to follow it up. They're going to try and take a little bit of an advantage in this mid lane. Corrupt Disciple did not have enough for another Electric Tide, which was going to be up soon, but they get the kill anyway. Slick's picking that up. And I got to say, DWI taking a nice early advantage so far as Hellbringer goes down for them. Not quite quick enough to get out of there. But they do have a pretty nice little...
IRC? Slapped around with a fish spot or something. That's
nice.
Pretty much what Myrmidon just did. Yeah, top lane, there we go.
Oh, there's the ultimate and the bounces. But unfortunately, since you're Magic Moon, you can't heal yourself either, and he doesn't have enough mana for it right now either, so I think...
No.
Oh, Epic Jukes! Get away! Oh, tower dive much? Oh, unable to find him. Jerizaiah survives. Aluna not level 6 yet,
hit
so...
points. Yeah, 18 hit points. That Ring of the Teacher.
Yeah, that little bit of extra armor, that's all he needed.
Yeah, so that's pretty much why he gets the Protective Charm. I mean, he didn't need it earlier on necessarily, since if he gets nuked, the only thing it would remove would be the slow. So he didn't really need it. His aura definitely helped out, especially with that gank. Otherwise, it's like nearly impossible to catch up to Plague Rider with his Imba move speed.
I also did want to note that the Legion has taken over some of the warding game here. Cardinal throwing out a couple of wards, one at bottom to spot the gank, and another one down there, kind of interesting, the vision that it grants in its certain position there. Not quite as nicely placed as the Hellborn one, but still giving crucial vision of the ward there and a little bit of a gank spot as well.
Yeah, you see they really, really want to keep up the mobility. Corrupted Disciple going for an early Ghost Marchers instead of getting just plain Marchers and then going for Helm of the Black Legion, as opposed to getting the full phase boost before then. He's definitely planning on him for getting level 6 and him being able to gank and him being able to run people down.
Oh, and with the Plague Rider ultimate down, we do see Jerizaiah and Hellbringer taking down Plague Rider. Jaw placing a new Ward of Sight in the jungle here to spot this Legion coming around for him. And looks like Boinkmoo, or Brax has gone ahead and placed a Ward of Sight there in the Hellborn lane as well. Nymph4 going to be facing off against Myrmidon. Oh, that's... there was no facing off to that. I think her back was turned the entire time. So she went down pretty quickly there.
I was going to say also Hellbringer going for level 2 Unholy Shackles as opposed to a Life Void, which is also an interesting leveling of abilities. It helps for ganking too. Obviously, Life Void is more... His tank ability is pretty much... Well, it's questioned, but every time you see him survive... Oh, yeah.
What are you doing? Oh, I guess he can't go anywhere but that way. With the way that fissure was landed. I thought there was a little opening at the back of the fissure, but I panned the camera back and nope. He was blocked. So Behemoth showing his colors there, nicely played, landing that stun. They managed to pick up 2 kills down there. Unfortunately, Hammerstorm... It seems like the Myrmidon is just landing an insane amount of those weed fields. Sometimes it can be relatively easy to spot and be able to dodge, but I guess at that close range it can just be kind of difficult to get out of that path. They maybe need to change the animation to be a little bit wider so it truly displays the girth of the snare.
Yeah, girth I guess would be accurate way of putting it. But just looking at the situation, I saw that the Hammerstorm already had himself the Strider, so he's going to be able to... Oh dear, at the top.
Yeah, at the top we do have Hammerstorm going to be looping around from back behind. Myrmidon following up to try and catch the Plague Rider. And it's the double backstab as the Plague ultimate comes out. Hammerstorm using his mana power supply to go ahead and charge up a little bit, but just enough to absorb another couple hits. So Plague Rider is going to escape, and unfortunately it was the both teams setting up the trap for the other one, and unfortunately one trap was a little more deadly since they had a tower.
Yeah, he thought there was only one, and then he kind of saw the Myrmidon, and he should have backed out. He was too far gone at that point, I guess.
That's when he just shouts over the mic, "Manning up!" and runs in.
That's what I say all the time. Yeah, too far gone to turn back.
It would take me way too long to walk all the way back to my lanes.
Yeah.
Oh, and missing that middle. Hopefully the live stream caught it. Sorry about that. Hellbringer does go down to the combination of Soul Stealer and a Myrmidon. Of course, Myrmidon having that great ability to trap so many people at once. Also doing his nice job at warding. Has a couple of wards sitting on him here. Ward of Revelations being placed out as well. Jaw has one. Took out their ward to spot that. Myrmidon has one. I don't think that they're aware of this ward that's spotting them right now. but I do not think so. So, gonna have to see how this bottom lane pans out. It's actually remaining relatively even. We saw a nice little early jump in experience and gold towards the Hellborn team, as they are going to go ahead and pick up a tower in this middle. Jeraziah, unfortunately not having any more mana, came in, managed to shield himself up, but not able to follow it up with anything else, even though he had some support. So, yeah, it is remaining relatively even here. We now see a little bit of a gold spike due to that tower, as Behemoth is going to try and get a nice trap off, but unfortunately Hammerstorm lands on the opposite side of the Fissure, but a rather nice blind Fissure all the same. And Aluna also throwing from bottom her ultimate, almost finished off Hammerstorm, but not quite enough.
Yeah, we're finally getting to see the strength of some of the heroes, like, especially the Myrmidon, whom in lane he himself didn't get trashed on, but the Cardinal on the Behemoth died a couple of times. The Aluna died, well, two. Aluna also died twice, so they did have a rough time in the lane, but you're actually getting to see how strong the heroes are. Just really, really good heroes, especially the Plague Rider being in the solo lane. Really can help out his team. Like I said, with that magic immunity only going on one of their teammates, Plague Rider being, a higher level than the opposing team supports, will be able to wreck them in team fights as soon as, that's it.
Yeah, Myrmidon's like, don't worry, dude, I'll bait him. So he runs out into the lane. Unfortunately, finds 3 heroes instead of 1, and Soul Stealer's like, you're on your own, bro.
It's kind of what happened to Zaku at top when he went behind.
Yeah.
To go catch the Plague Rider. Oh dear, in middle lane, this could be good.
Here we go, and a nice reaction time coming out from Hellbringer, throwing up the ultimate, but does not matter, not going to be enough.
He didn't even Light Void to kind of, well, he did have a level 1, but...
still not quite. I mean, I don't think that he probably would have been able to have stopped it there.
Yeah, I was just saying.
But that reaction time for the ultimate was pretty split second. I mean, if he was looking slightly off screen at anything, that would have been pretty impressive to have gotten that.
Well, he was focusing on last hitting, and the cast time on it is. I mean, there's no cast time in Malthus really.
Oh.
So, I mean, it is not. It is pretty nice, but it's.
Yeah, and Myrmidon actually doing a nice job at saving Aluna bottom, and Soul Stealer coming to join him. Unfortunately, Soul Stealer is out of mana. Myrmidon going to land another nice weed field. He seems to be throwing them just exactly almost at the same time, and just really nice predictions coming out from him on as far as where to throw the weed field. And the it's not like the classic time where you'd see him throw the carp and wait for him to try and pause and then throw the weed field. He's really kind of going for the dual effect and doing as much nuking and not as long of a possible disable, but still kind of pretty much guaranteeing a disable.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you call it the Busca build, but Sabuska also goes Jeraziah solo, and he goes for a Nullstone first item. Oh. Since he can kind of avoid having to shield himself and have to defend himself with his abilities, he can get a Nullstone, and it's a good defensive item. It gives him a lot of extra mana, and then he can help out his team and not have to worry so much. So I don't know if it's purely his build, but I have seen him do that, and he dominates pretty hard on Jeraziah. As for their late game potential between the Soul Stealer and the Aluna versus action in the middle lane.
Dead body soup. As that was so huge. Close. That was a really nice stun coming out from Hammerstorm there, if you saw that. It didn't look like he should have been able to have cast from that range, but it flew up and over the hill and landed on Soul Stealer. The Nymphzeal to follow it up, but unfortunately Myrmidon was quick to port to middle, and Behemoth was standing up in the wings waiting there, and there was really no hope for that gank once they got past that little bit of a ridge.
A little too aggressive. I always say the same thing. In these games, like in some games you don't have to worry, but in any higher tier games you can never tower dive like that, or go on, unless you know you can kill them 100% with your opening. You never really want to wait around there, even if it's an extra 5 seconds action at bottom.
Yeah, Aluna actually playing a little bit too far up here. Thought she was going one-on-one, but found out
she tried a deja vu there to disjoint something or other, but unfortunately is a little too close, so it didn't really help out at all. Yeah, like I was saying with you never really want to tower dive, or not even tower dive necessarily, but open up on someone near their tower unless you're sure you can get the kill immediately.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to expect them to TP in and help out their teammates, which did happen, and a 2-for-none exchange, like you said.
Exactly. Yeah, that is what went down there. I mean, that happens so much in public games, and it aggravates me to no end whenever you have some really good team synergy on one side, to where it's like they're all responding to the gank, they're all getting there on time and doing what they need to do to help out, but Your team's always busy farming, so. But unfortunately, in these competitive games, it is always the point where they will respond. They will show up to defend their towers, and they will help out a teammate. So you just cannot take that for granted, as On a Prayer said, that they're just going to go ahead and let him die and continue their own little greedy farm.
Yeah, like I was saying, between the two teams and who, well, it comes down to if one team can significantly outfarm the other, then that'll give them the advantage. But oh dear.
Oh dear indeed, as the Hellbringer ultimate comes out and manages to pick up the kill on that Hammerstorm. I had it clicked, but I couldn't say his name. Hammerstorm there.
Yeah,
onto the,
right?
He picked up the kill onto Aluna. And now we go ahead and see, looks like Jeremiah and Corrupted Disciple cycling top. Jeremiah actually level 11 now, doing quite well. Going to be going up against this setup. Oh, and Jeremiah being blocked off, unable to help his team out anymore. He's sitting, waiting, hopefully going to be able to go over there. Unfortunately, the Plague Rider, Myrmidon, and Behemoth were not able to follow up onto Corrupted Disciple. So, unfortunately, the nice block was not utilized.
So, Corrupted actually finishing the Helm of the Black Legion. I mentioned that he's going to want to actually do a lot of roaming and ganking, but so far I haven't really seen him with Nymphora. I think it's been Nymphora and Hammerstorm that's been trying to set stuff up as...
Oh, speaking of Hammerstorm and Nymphora, hello! So they managed to find that there. Jeremiah popping his ultimate to help prevent any further tower damage. Unfortunately, Corrupted did not catch in on that, but doesn't really need it at this very moment. They are going to go ahead and try and back it up and take this tower top, since they've already gotten one bottom, and this will be a nice matching set for them. The Myrmidon stun coming out, though. Nice heal onto Hammerstorm. He's going to be able to survive for a little bit longer. Aluna picking up the kill, and they're going to have to give up this defense tower as it is denied. Jeremiah's shield being a nice little bit added feature there. Does manage to dodge the Myrmidon weed field. And I think, are they going to go ahead and stop this pursuit, or are they just going to go for broke?
Looks like they want to push the tower since they're all here, pretty much. So they're going to try to... gather up and do something. Although Plague Rider doesn't have his ultimate anymore, so that'll... they might not want to risk it, especially... Yeah, they're just going to go back and farm. Since they realize that later game they do have the advantage with, having the better carries, both the Aluna and the Soul Stealer, as opposed to a lone Corrupted Disciple. It's more of the fact that they have a lot of survivability. Hammerstorm is pretty beefy, Corrupted Disciple's pretty durable, Jeremiah is durable, and Hellbringer with his Life Void is pretty durable too, so they don't really have that much pure damage necessarily, because they have a decent amount of disable and stun and a decent amount of damage, but no huge. Like, they don't have a Plague Rider ultimate, they don't have a Soul Steal ultimate, even a Luna's Power Throw, I guess, to a certain extent, but they don't have the Behemoth as well once he gets his portal key. So later game, it's definitely in ExSK's favor. So DWI is really trying to be aggressive early on. They're constantly moving around, they're constantly trying to get the kills, because they realize later it goes, the harder it will be for them. It's not like it's not an auto lose thing where given equal farm and given equal levels, it's not like they automatically lose to Soul Stealer and Aluna, especially since obviously there's, let's say they get a pick off or something, especially with the Nymphora, they can TP somewhere, get a pick off, and then easily push once they're ahead, ahead of player. So it can go either way, but definitely in ExSK's favor the later the game goes. So they're not going to try to push their advantage. They weren't going to go push top. They're just going to back off, wait for Soul Stealer to get his Shrunken Head, which he has picked up. They might wait for him to get his portal key, wait for Hellbringer to blow his ultimate and then come in there after. Who's going to bait, though? That's the question. If Soul Stealer is not in front, they don't really have anyone to bait the team. Like, on DWI, they can actually have someone run forward since they have two heals to back them up. They have both the Jeremiah and the Nymphora. So not only do they have really durable heroes, but they have a lot of heals and they have a shield to back them up. But on SK's team, until they get the Blink Dagger on the Behemoth, it's actually going to be a little bit rough for them to engage. So that's also another reason why they chose to back out, because they really have no proper initiation until Behemoth gets that. It's going to hurt them though, because without being able to push and getting those towers, it's going to be a while before he gets his Blink Dagger.
Oh, and a heck of a cluster going on here as we have the Hellbringer was coming up. He does manage to get his ultimate off and drive them back. Jaw came down to throw up a ward, and the Legion team was wise to it, trying to do a little bit of a counter ward themselves. And now we've got this really big spread out battle as the Hellborn is, I think they ended up coming out winning pretty much in that, as the Legion team is in pretty poor shape, going back and licking their wounds now, heading back to base. So even as scattered and crazy as that was, it was pretty well done there for DWI. And we
Yeah,
are
not bad.
21 minutes
Let's see,
into this game.
Hammerstorm, he's been roaming around a lot, and he's actually gotten quite a few kills. His gold is nearing the 1300 mark. As for, yeah, nearly 2100 on Toronto, that's the Jeremiah. He's going to be going for the Nullstone like I anticipated. After that, he'll probably go for a Cauldron Sheepstick. Just depends. He can also go for a Frostfield Plate, but I would imagine he'll go for a Cauldron Sheepstick. Maybe go for a Mocker Brilliance, which is also alright. Like, it's not
If
a
he
bad
can get
item
that
on
much
him,
crazy
but
farm.
I assume we'll see the Sheepstick coming out.
There's the
Let's
Blessed
see.
Orb pickup onto Jeremiah. That's what I was wanting to say, is that we're 21 minutes into the game. If we want to touch on some of the items here, we do see the Blessed Orb and Sustainer pickup onto Jeremiah, which puts him well on his way towards that Nullstone. Bottom, we have Hammerstorm going down, losing a little bit of that gold farm he was hanging on to there. I guess he's trying to hopefully get up to his portal key.
Check out Cardinal. He's actually really, really close. That's the Behemoth. A nice block off onto Hellbringer at bottom.
So deadly. And going ahead and breaking out the ultimate so he can get the kill and get that taunt off.
Yeah, it was actually more because he's really, really close. Once his tower goes down, he'll have his portal key. So he just threw it out there because he knew that. Yep.
Nicely done.
He's gonna be able to pick it up right now, and he does go ahead and get that. As check this out, Nymphora and Jeremiah from behind.
Came from behind. As unfortunately, it looks like Nymphora's getting it from behind and gonna be going down very quickly. As Jeremiah is like, okay, they're gone. I'm gonna farm some creeps. See you later, bro. And yeah, it's not going to end well for this poor Jerry. But he does have a team rallying. Here we go. The ultimate coming out from Jeremiah. The Hammerstorm stun coming out onto Behemoth. Corrupted Disciple trying to finish off Behemoth. Are they going to get it? Yes, they do manage to pick up the kill. Hammerstorm getting that, actually. Aluna going to be TPing out. No stun from Hammerstorm right now. Not able to lock him down. There it is. Had 1 second remaining on it. So a 1-for-1 going out so far on bottom, losing Behemoth and Nymphora, I guess, for the Hellborn.
It's fine for Behemoth, though. Cause
yeah, he just spent all his gold.
Before that happened, right? And like I was going to say, Jeremiah was perfectly fine. He knew his team was coming, and both the Nymphora and who else was there were out of mana. I think it was, yeah, the Behemoth and not the Nymphora, the Myrmidon and the Behemoth, rather. They both didn't have any mana, so he didn't have to worry that he was going to get nuked down before his team got there. So looking at that, I'm just going to get the gold difference. There's about a 3,000 in both experience and gold in SK's favor. ExSK rather, as I hear an M4 ulting somewhere.
I thought I did. Where'd she go?
A little bit south of the border.
Oh, there she is. I see.
Gonna be Soulstealer who has. Yeah, he does have a portal key, so he'll be able to get out. He's gonna go straight into the jungle and maybe TP away. He's going to. He's just
taking his time. We do see Hammerstorm was actually really close to his portal key. He's actually at 2,100 gold saved up right now. Just a little bit off from that. Probably just going to go ahead and... Oh, he's sitting in base, so I don't know if he's going to go ahead and wait that last little bit out or what. Nope, he's going to go ahead. Yeah.
He doesn't want to risk
waiting quite that long. So
I wonder what the Plague Rider is going to go for next. It could either be a Call of Sheepstick. He could go for... Like I said, they don't really have the best of initiation, so he might go for a portal key of his own, since they already have one on the Soulstealer.
Yeah.
The Shrunken and a portal key, they might have Plague Rider with a portal key who can jump in there and get a really nice ultimate off, followed by the Soulstealer. And like I said, against the Jeremiah, this much magic damage will really give them the edge. Like, the Jeremiah ultimate doesn't do as much for them, even though they do have a fair bit of straight DPS with, I guess, Aluna, but more of the Soulstealer. But they're mainly magic damage at this stage of the game. Up until like the 35-40 minute mark, the main source of damage from those two heroes will be their utility as opposed to, you know, their DPS items. Let me see. I think, yeah, Nullstone finished onto the Jeremiah. The Nymphora got a Fortified Bracer and Striders. Hellbringer, I was wondering what he's going to go for, but he actually doesn't have any items. Ideally, he would have wanted to go for a Puzzle Box, I would imagine. And, oh, there goes Hammerstorm.
There's the new portal key on Hammerstorm, as he's going to portal key in and get the initiation off. Unfortunately, a nice Plague Rider ultimate does quite a bit of a bounce there. Or no, that was just the nuke there taking that kill. So yeah, it looks like DWI is going to have to run out of here and try and make it out with their lives. They've got 3 heroes up, lost 2 in that fight. I don't know whether they just weren't expecting for quite the...
Yeah. The Hammerstorm went in a bit too soon.
Yeah.
They didn't have any coordinated follow-up. He basically went out ahead of his entire team. Although I think what happened was I wasn't paying really close attention, but did Cardinal cut them off? I think he was expecting follow-up,
Cardinal
but
got
then
a nice
Behemoth
fisher
jumped in
there as far as I could
used
see.
his ultimate to really shut them down. So basically, Behemoth, Hammerstorm rather, was stuck while the rest of his team was disabled by Behemoth.
One of the mighty powers of a Behemoth over a Hammerstorm.
And
But,
Plague
as you
Riders
said
also
before, it
wasn't-
is more of a situational thing to where you can both damn your team and help it at the same time.
Yeah. In that case, he wasn't that damned. Alright, let's see. Yeah, so XSK is in a really good position right now. Early on, as I say that, at the top, boink moo. Gonna boink someone.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's what you call getting boinked, I guess.
Yeah, boinked and boinked.
Oh, and Hammerstorm coming out there does manage to land a stun. Here we go. The Hellborn are trying to pick off this Behemoth. They do get that. And I don't know they're going to be able to pick up on this Myrmidon. He might have some teammates helping to block him off here.
He's trying to get in range of the slowest. Someone has a health flower. I assume that's the Aluna. Yep.
There we go. And they are going to have to force this this attack back off. So, unfortunate. I guess they did make up for the Corrupted Disciple, but not really, since Corrupted Disciple is, their main carry here that they're hoping to take them into the late game, since this is already 27 minutes into this game. Relatively even, like Onapair said, we do see that XSK seems to have a bit of a lead right now, currently at about 6,000 experience and almost 7,000 gold.
Yeah, Plague Rider saving up for a portal key like I expected. Unless he's going to go for another surprising item, but he nearly has 2,100 gold. He could go for Cauldron Sheepstick, in which case he can get a Blessed Orb next item, but I would imagine it's a portal key. As for the rest of the team, just looking at what you would expect item-wise, from Hammerstorm, I guess Barbed Armor or Shrunken Head, preferably Shrunken Head, since Jeremiah is going to want to shield either himself or the Corrupted Disciple, depending on if he gets another carry item.
They are
need
working
damage,
on
and he
farming
probably
this
realizes it, so I'm
Jeremiah
gonna
as
say
well.
Mock just to say it, but he may also decide to go for a Cauldron Sheepstick. The problem with going a Sheepstick, as they put themselves in a really precarious situation.
Precarious,
my
you might
God.
say. As we are going to see the ultimate from Behemoth coming out to finish off that little Nymphora.
I'm gonna say that wasn't entirely good.
Not entirely.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, but why?
Yeah. We do see the portal key pick up onto Plague Rider, as you had suspected. Hellbringer almost going, and he's trying to do the wind up in the pitch on that Plague Rider, but not able to get off the swing or the cast on the Hellbringer. So a little bit of luck there, a little bit of skill coming out from Hellbringer, managing to outrun that Plague Rider.
Like I was saying with the Jeremiah, the reason why I don't think he's gonna get called a Sheepstick is Plague Rider, once he throws out his ultimate, he's kind of a waste to use it on. Same for Behemoth, same for Myrmidon.
What do you think they're focusing on this Jeremiah's farm for?
You can't expect, unless you can jump them, which Jeremiah would probably be too far back. I would assume Soul Stealer would use his Shrunken Head long before he managed to hex him. So there's really no one for him to use the hex on that it would be effective. I think he realizes he needs damage, and I would imagine he'll go for a Radiance, but I could be wrong.
Is that what you think that they're stacking this farm on him for? Because I was watching him up in Woods, and they managed to, they gave him a triple stack medium camp there. I mean, Hammerstorm was just standing and watching and letting Jeremiah get all the kills, and they just stacked up there at top right before they TP'd into Nymphora's Doom. So it looks like they might be trying to focus a little bit on Jeremiah getting something in particular. He is currently sitting at 322 gold per minute and resting on almost 1,800 gold. So be curious to see what next item he does go ahead and go for, if he's going to go for that Mock of Brilliance or what.
Yeah. The real problem in this game is that Corrupted Disciple, I see it a lot. Oh dear, I hear something going down.
Yeah, there was a lot of something going down there, as a nice portal key from Hammerstorm, which was followed by the portal key from Plague Rider to try and disjoint that hammer, but unfortunately was not able to get very far away. But it ended up to be a wash, as both teams end up retreating to the others showing up.
Yeah, I've
now
seen this before
Jeremiah in God
when
mode.
a team gets Corrupted Disciple, they don't have enough nuke damage on a team or magic damage. Corrupted Disciple is all physical, pretty much except for his, Corrupted Tide, which I wouldn't really count Electric Tide, that is. So it's kind of rough for them. It's either he dominates or you just don't see him in the fights as well as you would like. It's kind of like you see him there and he's doing stuff, but he's not owning.
That's usually the feeling I always have whenever I see Corrupted Disciple in these games. He usually never comes up to to the plate there quite as strongly as some of the others on their team. So I
Yeah,
guess
exactly. That's he can build into late game if he gets, let's say, a Frostful Skull and he has a Geometer Bane and those sort of items. He can build up to the point where he can be really good. But like I said, he can't steal the damage from Soul Stealer, who has the Shrunken Head. He can steal it from the Luna, I suppose. But yeah, like I said, he's just, he's there and he has a decent score and he has a decent farm, but really underwhelming in the team fights. It's because there's so much magic damage coming out that his damage over time, or his, by the time he actually puts a dent into the other team, his team has just suffered so much since, from the Plague Rider, the Behemoth, and the Soul Stealer, that it just doesn't show. Like, you just weigh the two and you don't see anything. That's pretty much what it is.
Super Chicken delivering the Firebrand to Soul Stealer.
Yeah, Geometer Bane incoming. So typical build, Geometer Bane, Frostful Skull would be my guess. He can get the Frostburn, but I highly doubt it. Typically these days you see them going straight Geometer Bane, since it's not as expensive anymore as it used to be.
Is Aluna going to be working towards Shrunken here with that Ogre Axe, or Mighty Blade, or what is she working towards?
ExSK actually likes to go Frostful Skull on Aluna.
Oh.
And considering there's not that much magic damage over on the Hellborn team, the only thing they're really worried about is the actual disables. Like, if they get stunned, maybe they get stunned long enough, but I don't really see them having to worry about that. So I'll probably go Frostful Skull. It'll be enough survivability that he won't really need the Shrunken, but I could be wrong. Alright, let's see. Yeah, so it's pretty much just sit back and farm time and see what both teams can do, because SK...
Well, I mean, for DWI right now, they know that they're not going to be able to pull ahead as far as, just keep ramming their head into the wall, so they've got to do something different here.
Yeah, ExSK doesn't have to do anything, really, because they're in, like I said, later game, it benefits them, so they're just going to sit back and wait for DWI to make their move. And right now, with DWI being behind as they are, they can't really make their move either, so it's just going to be sit back and farm for the next 5 minutes or so. Maybe they get a pick off, maybe not, but it's just going to be really, really laid back. Maybe Jerazai gets another item. How much does he have?
Yeah, Toronto just spent something.
Was that right? Yeah, that's right.
What did he pick up? I can't even click
the
stupid
picking up
bird.
The Sword of the High.
Oh, yep, going towards his...
as I suspected.
Mock of Brilliance, right? That's what it's called here?
Yeah, the Mock.
Keep wanting to call it Radiance. As we are old Dodens, he's going to go ahead and continue his farm.
It's nice against the portal keys. Since
it does disable those.
And Soul Stealer. Although Soul Stealer with his Shrunken Head won't have to worry about it since it's magic damage. But once it's off, obviously he won't be able to get away. Of course, that's once he has it, which he doesn't actually have it yet. He's a little ways off. I guess I'll farm it at top now and in the jungle, which I do believe there are some stacks. Let me see. There's one over there. Just the one? Yep,
just one. I saw Nymphora taking out a stack earlier. Well, there's a stack at the hard camp up that the Legion's about ready to walk past on that one. And they'll probably go ahead and clear that up if they're going to linger in at all. They do get the ward placed to give them a nice little bit of vision to spot the Legion when they're in there jungling. But yeah, I saw Nymphora taking that out too, so I don't know what Nymphora's working towards. She took down a triple stack just a little bit ago as... Jerazai going to go ahead and get out of there, sensing that all is not right in the world and he needs to get out. But Nymphora right now sitting on her Striders, Mystic Vestments, and not a whole lot else. Has the Fortified Bracer, so may decide to make that into a Astrolabe at some point, but not sure. As this is the new latest patch here, we didn't see any. I haven't seen any Alchemist Bones this game either, as they did increase the cooldown time on those by 20 seconds. And what else did they change here? I guess that was the Astrolabe. They rechanged that. Oh, and we haven't seen any of the new item either. The
Energizer Bunny.
Energizer, yeah, that's it. Haven't seen any of that new item. I haven't really seen it a lot in games either, because people just aren't used to picking it up yet.
Yeah, probably once people realize its effectiveness or how effective it might possibly be. What is it? It's like a 40-second, I think? 40 or 45-second cooldown. Let me just go take a quick look. The Energizer, 50 move speed for 5 seconds. So it's like Ghost Marchers, huh? Cooldown 45 seconds. Cooldown's pretty long. The item is relatively cheap though, I think, so it's not all that hard to pick up. Yeah, 1700. So it's definitely, which is I think the same now for an Astrolabe. So
yeah, it's actually faster than Phase Boots, at least according on Corrupted Disciple, I just watched his increase in speed. He went up to 450-something versus 414. So that would actually giving you a 50 movement speed bonus for your whole squad. Be a pretty respectable little boost. How long did that last?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. Ah, never mind.
When you're trying to catch someone, well, they do have a Hammer Storm on their team, so
Yeah.
once he does his Galvanize, and then if they have the Energizer on top of that.
Yeah, that could be a pretty serious boost.
And then they have the Nymphora with her Grace of the Nymph, which gives extra move speed. I'm just saying, in the end, that won't really
stack
do that
move
much,
speed for the win.
I'm just saying, theoretically, they could do that, but in actuality, it won't really do that much, unless they were chasing someone. Oh, nice. Shrunken
Luna.
Head. So she'd actually
Yeah.
go for the Shrunken Head as opposed to the Frostful Skull I was expecting.
Score one for Monoxen for once. It's
Yep.
good to finally win one over On a Prayer. That's the one victory I'll get today, but I'll take that to heart there. So, yeah, that was a nice little bit of baiting going out there. She did pop the Shrunken Head, and with that pick off, they have Hammerstorm out of the way. They're going to go ahead and try and take down a Kongor. Luna, Plague Rider, and Soulstealer. Plague Rider manning up, going to try and tank this Kongor for him since he's got his armor on him. Now trying to trade off a little bit of the damage to Soulstealer. We have the... Oh, that Super Chicken is for them. I don't know what it's doing, just flying around scouting. Behemoth was lined up there waiting for the block off to try and prevent them from getting to them on that Kongor. And who did we go ahead and have pick up that token? Soulstealer does grab the token, and that'll give him a nice little bit of survivability there and good gutsy initiation since he knows he can come back even if he sneezes all over him and dies.
Yeah, that's definitely been their major concern. Let's see. Frostful Skull being attempted on Corrupted Disciple, definitely what I would have expected. He just needs to survive long enough, and he doesn't go for straight damage since he steals the damage. He's going to try to steal that from Aluna, although it's going to be a little rough. So he'll just steal it from whomever he can, you know.
Yeah,
I think it gives plus 200 at max level, something like that. It does give a lot of extra damage.
Since I haven't touched on any of the...
Jeremiah going to go in there. Does have his Mock of Brilliance picked up.
Oh, here we go, as we're going to see the initiation going out, the Electric Tide going out. Soulstealer ultimate not really catching anyone. The Plague Rider ultimate bouncing off. Plague Rider going down off to the side. And the chase down. Here we go. Hellbringer might go down. Soulstealer being forced to back up. Jeremiah sitting dangerously low. Gets his ultimate off. They do take down Soulstealer, but he has a token. He's going to be coming back into this fight angry and upset and just generally perturbed. Coming in here. Are they going to be able to catch him? Hammerstorm gets the Galvanize off and runs back out to the side so he doesn't get caught in a nuke. There we go. They do pick up the kill onto Soulstealer, so that is an excellent pick-off. This should give him a little bit of a momentum that helped close the gap a little bit. The Legion's still taking almost a 5,000 experience lead and a 6,500 gold lead, but they will pick up this defense tower middle in exchange for that at least.
Alright, problems for that, well, Jeremiah does have his Mock of Brilliance, which gives them a fair bit of extra damage in team fights, both for his auto attacks and just the area of effect and denying the portal keys. Another thing is, till now, SK's had the ability to initiate because DWI has been grouping up and going after them, so Behemoth can jump on them and actually set stuff up. This time around, it was really scattered, Behemoth managing to catch Hellbringer and Amphora, but that was solo. There were no creeps around, and he didn't catch the important targets. Hellbringer and Amphora are not, the ideal ones. Also, Hammerstorm caught the Myrmidon off to the side, so he wasn't actually around in the team fight to do anything. Soulstealer, like you said, ultimated on top of a Corrupted Disciple who had his Shrunken Head active. So all in all, their spells weren't used that well in coordination with each other, and them pushing. Like I said, there's a certain point where they feel like they're farmed enough. It's like, all right, guys, let's push. We have the token. We have the gold advantage, we have item advantage, we can do this. But that was a bit, I'm just going to say that was a bit uncoordinated with how they went about it. They came from a few different sides, and they also didn't open up properly.
Yeah, that's totally fair to say that. I mean, because you have three portal keys on your team. You have Behemoth, you have Plague Rider, and you have Soulstealer, and if you can manage to get that off, I really don't know how the Legion team's going to be able to stop that powerful of initiation squad you've got. But unfortunately, it was a little scattered. They ended up running into people and off to the side, and they ended up running into people in the middle of the lane. Soulstealer's ultimate, as you said, was pretty much ineffective. Jeremiah, of course, also, this is the first fight that we've seen him with the Mock of Brilliance. He does now have a Mystic Vestments picked up for whenever his magic shield is not on himself. But that Mock of Brilliance, so long as he can keep himself alive in these fights, you'd probably be pretty surprised how much damage over time, him just running around and wandering around in a fight, he's going to be accomplishing. So it's a very nice pickup on him, and will give him a little bit more of an edge in these team fights where he can make use of it.
Yeah, especially once he has his slow aura, so you can continually auto-attack someone. And it's a lot of extra damage, because it's plus 60 damage to his actual auto-attack, but it's actually 100 damage because, well, depends how much he attacks, 1 attack per second, yeah. So consider like an extra 100 damage for that item, provided he's attacking someone without a Shrunken Head active. So it does give him a lot of extra damage. So that's why I expected him to go for it, in addition to denying the portal keys. Item-wise, it's just going to be standard, yeah. I said it was either going to be the Shrunken Head or Barbed Armor on Hammerstorm. He was going to go the Shrunken Head route, which is the safer route and a lot better for what he wants to accomplish. Since if he can deny the other team the magic damage output, then they pretty much win.
Yeah, because Plague Rider's magic is just so huge.
Yeah, unless it gets late enough to where... See, that's the thing. Will their DPS be enough? Because if they could deny XSK the actual magic damage output, and then they have a Jerizai's ultimate, their DPS won't really be as effective. So they do have a fair bit going for them. So like I said, later game, it is in XSK's favor, but not necessarily is it, a clear victory. And right now, let me see, Corrupted Disciple should be well on his way. These sit back and farm times in between, I guess there are huge lulls in the action. Well, not lulls, as in, you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, each team wants to, they get that good pick off, and I mean, DWI, they played it smart. They waited until a sloppy initiation came out. They took advantage of that. They made their move. They went middle. They took tower, at least one there. I don't know, was the second tower, did they get both of those, or I can't remember. But they made good use of that, and then instead of being greedy and sticking around, they saw that the XSK was back up, and they all backed out and said, hey, let's keep farming. That last fight went well for us. Let's see if we can get lucky on another one of those. And Frostwolf Skull now finished on Corrupted Disciple. Looking at gold farm, I've been wanting to touch on that. We have Painted Gold on the Aluna at 343 gold per minute. Soul Stealer, Angry Testy, 414 gold per minute. No big surprise there. Angry Testy, the classic mega farmer that he is. And looks like nobody else at 300 on their team. You switch it over to the Hellborn. We have Toronto sitting at 435 gold per minute on that Jerizaiah with that Mock of Brilliance. That is definitely helping to increase his farming potential. And then I guess the next best on their team is Slicks there playing Corrupted Disciple. Oh, and Jerizaiah picking up a Demonic Breastplate right now. So very nicely done. That's going to be a really big presence in these team fights as well. So Jerizaiah becoming the Aura and Master King there.
I guess Frostwolf Skull maybe, although they do have the slow from Corrupted Disciple already. What he would get for this other item. He could go for the Abyssal Skull, but...
Yeah, so that way he can just get all auras and say GG.
We do have a little bit of trash talking coming back and forth.
Right.
Alright, Toronto, and then we have China B. China being F8, old SK member. Used to be part of...
Yeah, he's a moderator on the boards now, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, used to be part of Clan 5 way back. Known as F8. Alright, so this is stage of the game where the farm is relatively even. I mean,
this is also the point in the game where, regardless pretty much of how much you've farmed, one big genocide here can be the change of the game. So even though it looks like... Yeah, even though it looks like the Hellborn's sitting in a pretty comfortable position here with the Jerizaiah getting all beefed out and the nice armor debuff coming out from Jerizaiah, which will help their Corrupted Disciples DPS with his new Frostwolf Skull. Looking forward to the next team fight here. We're going to see, I guess, what the big matchup is and how well it's going to pan out. And I guess now, since we are starting to see more of the Shrunken Head pickups on the Hellborn, Hammerstorm has not finished his yet. Jerizaiah basically has a free one by casting his thing. Hellbringer has Magic Res, and Nymphora's just got the Mystic Vestments. But, that eats off quite a bit of that Plague Rider ultimate and the Soul Stealer ultimate. You've got all of this magic damage stacked up on the Legion team. And like you've said, if you can nullify a good portion of that, and then you've got the Jerizaiah ultimate on top of that, you're going to be looking pretty damn sexy in these team fights.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's all about. If XSA can manage a proper initiation, they'll have the advantage, but at this point there's like I said, there's a lot of beef on their team. It's going to be really hard to actually take them down, especially with 2 heals backing them up. So they have three tanky heroes, 4 potentially. I was going to mention that the Hellbringer picked up a Storm Spirit, which is a really nice counter to Soul Stealer. If one of the teammates gets jumped on and he gets stunned and Soul Stealer tries to ultimate on top of him, he can go and, you know, cyclone him into the air, and it pretty much prevents any damage on him. So it's a nice pickup. And if any of their heroes actually do get low enough, which is going to be interesting in the first place, just to see them actually drop that low with all the heals and the tank, he's gonna be able to help them out. So they're in a really good position right now. I'm just thinking what XSK can do, because if they need to initiate properly. I mean, they have a lot going for them if they can manage to get it off properly. The Soul Stealer picked up a Nullfire Blade, not that surprising. Gonna want to remove the Nullfire effect from someone. The thing is that they have
Luna also having a Nullfire.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who we'd want to use it on. Jeremiah it'd be hard, because even with removing the ultimate, it's hard to take out Slicks. He's just really, really beefy at this point. He has nearing 2,400 hit points and a fair bit of armor, and he's gonna have heals and everything, so it's hard to focus him. Hammerstorm, once he goes in and initiates, you don't want to focus him either. I guess they can go for Jeremiah. Maybe Jeremiah, because he doesn't have a shrunken head either.
Yeah, I mean, if you go and you try and pick off the Jeremiah, because you get that purge off on him, take his ultimate, take his shield, even if he puts it on himself, his protective charm, take him out of the fight. There goes that passive armor reduction and the Mock of Brilliance. So that will change the course of a team fight pretty hugely, I would imagine.
Yep, definitely. I guess he'd be their ideal target. His next item pickup, well, it's gonna be a ways off. He's got 700 gold. Let's see.
Still maintaining 434 gold per minute, though.
Still maintaining. Well, it's really easy to maintain that once you have your
Once you got Mock.
Yeah, especially you basically just let yourself drain the creeps a little bit. Just let it tick a few times with the Mock, and then just heal and get an entire wave. And
I don't think that they had the Nullfire Blades before, did they?
Nice job
in this last fight.
Angry Latesti. He actually purged the Nullstone from Jeremiah, although it'll be up.
Well, that's what I was kind of curious. That's what I was just getting at. I was going to say, well, since they didn't have these Nullfires last time, maybe this will actually be a really good thing to show in this team fight, to say, hey, you know what, let's Nullfire Jeremiah, and then he won't be expecting it, because, like, just a few moments ago, he was right at the front of that creep wave, had his protective charm on himself, like, hey, dudes, I'm God mode here. What are you going to do about it? Whereas now I think Testy's let the cat out of the bag, and they do know that he has the Purge. Unfortunately, that Nullstone is kind of causing them a little bit of a problem, but since they do have 2 of those, one on Aluna and one on Soul Stealer, they should be able to go ahead and get through there the rest of the way, if they can both manage to land it at the same time.
Behemoth, a little frustrated that they can't really do much against Jeremiah.
Yep, I mean, you can't blame them. You can't blame them for picking a hero that's maybe going to let them win. So it's frustrating as hell, especially when they had a pretty decent game going here for them, especially with all that magic damage. And they're like, well, it's okay. Jeremiah can really only protect one person at a time. But then, once it gets this late in the game to where you're not worrying just about Jeremiah. Oh, and speaking of that, we got Jeremiah eating the Behemoth Ultimate. Unfortunately, they don't have everyone close enough to get their Nullfire Blades off, and he managed to buck out of there with haste.
Yeah.
So, wow. Unfortunately, Luna was just a little bit too far off. If she could have landed that, if he had already popped his haste at that moment, it might have been just enough there. But unfortunately, not quick enough.
Yeah.
Whose bottle is he hanging on to, by the way? Jeremiah using Kiwi Kid's bottle. He's been carrying that around with him passionately here for a while now. There he goes. He went and swapped it back.
He's been swapping it back and forth a couple of times since he has full inventory. I've seen him have it he had it a couple times and he didn't have it, so I don't think he had it the entire time. I think there's rules against having it, but I'm not sure if it's just for the lane that you can't hold someone else's bottle for an extended period of time.
I want to say that there's something. I was thinking that same thing, but I'm not sure what the exact wording on it is. I think you can't just purchase it for him at the beginning of the game, like, hey, mid, go dominate. I'm going to buy you a bottle, and then I'm not going to get anything for myself right now. So, meanwhile, middle, Jeremiah does go ahead, or bottom, Jeremiah does take all of the purges here from the Nullfires. He gets Storm Spirited. They're trying to save him. Heals himself, trying to run away from this. Meanwhile, Corrupted Disciple pops his Shrunken Heads, getting some damage done. Unable to pick anyone off so far. Looks like Hammerstorm may be the first one to fall. Yes, he is. He goes down there to the Soul Stealer nuke from that Angry Testy. Behemoth coming in, going to land a stun, taking down this Corrupted Disciple, and just one more hit. There it goes. Legion taking down Slicks, and that's going to be a pretty important exchange as, whoa, we're not done yet. Luna goes down, and now the chase down from Jeraziah onto this Plague Rider. Nymph Zeal missing, very unfortunately. I think they might be able to go ahead and finish off this Plague Rider. Nice Storm Spirit to go ahead and secure the kill. But there we go. I guess that ended up being a 2-for-2 exchange. In the end of that, a Luna and Plague Rider in exchange for Hammerstorm and Corrupted Disciple. Jeraziah, as much as they wanted to take him out, that fight was not going down. His Nullstone being taken out right now, and the TP coming in is canceled, leaving Soul Stealer to his fate. Looks like he's not going to be getting out of there. Unless, oh, a nice use of the Behemoth Stomp there. Using his ultimate, actually, to prevent them from chasing. That way it cuts through that magic immunity. Going to be costing himself his life as the Hellborn catches him with those couple of catapults. And very, very unfortunate so far for this ExSK in that exchange. Valiant effort from Behemoth there. I guess it is a little bit better for Behemoth to sacrifice himself than allowing Soul Stealer to be taken out. But we do have a Luna, Soul Stealer, and Myrmidon back on the board, ready to do a little bit of a defending here as Kongor may be taken by the Hellborn.
Yeah. I'm going to say ExSK is a little frustrated. Like you said, Soul Stealer has a Nullfire Blade, a Luna has a Nullfire Blade, and now Plague Rider's picked up a Nullfire Blade. rank 1. So.
Well, they did. They almost had Jeraziah. They almost had him. But unfortunately, they just couldn't catch up to him and keep him down. So that's, I guess, maybe with a third Nullfire, they'll be able to do it. We'll just have to see.
At this point, even with all the purges they have, he's pretty beefy. 2200, and he's got 28 armor. And of course,
and there's no purge in that, so you're pretty much stuck with that. He's got a really nice damage reduction so far.
Yeah, so it's really it is really rough. Like you saw them, they removed it twice. They basically removed the Nullstone, they removed his ultimate, and then they tried beating on him, and it still took long enough that they couldn't kill him before the rest of his team came in there. It was a nice job by Zaku trying to get rid of Behemoth. He didn't have his ultimate up anyway in that team fight. That's what they were missing. Behemoth's ultimate was like, I think 30 or 40 seconds off cooldown when that fight happened. So you saw him use it after everything. So it was a little rough going for them. It looked like they were doing well, but they were missing a really key component. As someone did mention that the fish has picked up the Energizer.
Oh, has he now? There we go.
Yeah.
That's my first look at the
Is
new
there
item.
is there a graphic or something? I've actually never seen it.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it actually looks like when he casts it, but it looks like a little helmet on a stick almost, with a glowing visor.
Yeah. Shout out to Citrus. Thanks. Just gonna wait and see when you use it. I wonder if there's an actual animation. I bet it has to be cool, right? I mean, you know, it's gotta be flashy.
You would hope. At least like everyone gets the Green Lantern glow going or something, you know, and takes off.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Or you just have like the drums from the bunny just play it. No one. Yeah, I don't know why I keep bringing it up. I just keep going. All right. We'll leave that alone for now. Just looking at, he must have like a bucket full of gold or a pot full of gold.
Wow. Yeah, Jeraziah has 5,600 gold he's sitting on.
So
52 minutes into the game.
3,200 gold saved up on Corrupted Disciple as well. That's something. All right, what's he gonna go for?
Maybe they'll pull a cool Fresh Pro move. I was watching the Fresh Pro stream at one point, and yeah, got Doombringer, but not for himself. He built it on the Courier and handed it off to Nova on Forsaken.
Yeah,
so
but he would use it for himself at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he is pretty tanky, but Corrupted getting that extra bit of damage would be nice as well.
Yeah, I suppose. Let me see, 1.1.
Oh, he does have the token himself, too, so yeah, he could.
Jeraziah attacks faster than Corrupted.
Wow, yep.
Corrupted has no bonus attack speed, that's why. He really has nothing. Alright, where's the Energizer? I want to see it. I'm just going to focus on him for the rest of the game.
On Myrmidon, just waiting, hoping, seeing if he's...
Blink move, ladies and gentlemen.
Someone needs to send him a message, say use it. No, don't seriously do that. I'm sure he doesn't need the spam.
Yeah. Alright, we'll just have to wait and see. So this game's, it's the same, huh? It's just engage, pull back, farm,
And
to
rinse and
infinity.
repeat. I mean, they've won the last several exchanges this DWI so far, I guess. So that's if it's working for them. They have a really tanky team, like you've been saying all game, and that's really more towards what they're
Alright,
hoping for,
Toronto
being able to
spent his
force.
gold.
Oh, what did he go for? Is it flying out to him?
It is the
Frostwolf.
I did mention it earlier on, but I
Mhm.
am disappointed. It's going to give him a lot of added survivability, yada yada yada, but Doombringer, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, come on. 53 minutes into a game.
That's unfair. I was hoping for it. I'm sure a lot of people were as well as.
Crap. Right now he's really glad that he didn't go for that, as he is going to go down before he can do anything. Goes down, comes back up with the token. Very nicely done there from the Legion. Unfortunately, though, they spent all of that effort taking down a Jereziah, and that really doesn't leave them much for a response to this whenever the Hellborn shows up. So down we go with Angry Testy on that Soul Stealer. Also joining him, Plague Rider and Behemoth. Angry Testy buying back now. Going to try and do a little bit of a defense. Portal Keys up here is hoping to stop this crazy push coming out from the Hellborn. The stun block going out from Behemoth. They're wanting to try and preserve that tower. The Hellborn, however, takes Angry Testy down one more time. Going to take Behemoth down with him again. 1, 2, 3. There it goes. And a Luna going down. And that, I believe... Oh, my God. Look at that Jereziah. I ain't afraid of no ghost, he says, as he charges in there, his ultimate blazing, and manages to take out the whole team. So very well played there from DWI. Legion does go ahead and concede in Game 1 of ExSK versus DWI. DWI taking Game 1. This is the Game Replays Tournament Season 4 semifinals matchup between ExSK and DWI. Thank you very much to our sponsors, Own TV, Steel Series, and TeamSpeak. We will catch you guys in the next game here, Game 2. We'll have to see who takes this. Do you have anything you want to say on a prayer?
No, fun game. I like the Jereziah pickup. Well, just wondering if they're going to ban him next game. It's always interesting to see if there's, a rage ban. Although this time it's not really a rage. You'd probably have to consider a legitimate one after this game to ban the Jereziah. But
he was definitely a game
nothing
turner.
else to add. Just 9-0 and 10. He died exactly 0 times. So.
Well, thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in Game 2.